Hi, and welcome to this new podcast called Unshakable Her. My name is Fumi. I am your host, and I am very excited that you are here today with me. So, today's podcast, being that it's the first podcast, is called Unshakable Strength, because this is something that I keep on coming back towards every single time I find myself stuck again and again and again. Because I do, and I think we all do. We just find ourselves in times of inspiration, in times where things are flowing, and in times where things are great. And then we find ourselves where times are difficult and it's not easy. And we just need to tap into this almost invisible strength that we have inside of us, deep inside of us, to help us be able to move forward. Before we start, I just want to give a little bit of an intro of who I am and where I'm coming from and why I chose to do this podcast and where I'm hoping this podcast will take all of us. So I began my journey of healing and just awareness and going more in, I would say, let's say around 4 to 5 years ago. I was in a very bad place, I would say. A real place of just darkness, of just real, true darkness. Almost, I would say, depression. I don't know if I can label that because I think that's a very big word, but I can say that that's how I felt. Walking around, just doing things because I needed to get it done. I needed to go to work. I needed to take care of my kids. And then at every given moment that I was able to, I would escape reality. So that would look like sitting on my phone for hours. That would look like watching for hours. That would look like drinking, surrounding myself with people that I would never surround myself with now or before I got into that situation. Just numbness and darkness. And I gave up. I gave up hope. I gave up this spark of life that I had inside of me. And obviously there were many reasons and a lot of things that were going on which were not helping the situation. But this is where I found myself. I knew that I needed to climb my way out, and I knew that I needed to change my reality, and I wanted to change it. I just really didn't know how. I didn't know how, and I didn't think it was possible. I knew that I would have to put up a very big fight to be able to try to make my way out. There were 2 incidents that happened that really, I would say, pushed me in a way that nothing else could. And that really is what pushed me into this area of what I call healing. And that's really the purpose of this podcast, to talk about healing in the perspective of a woman, mainly a mother, but truly just knowing your value as a woman and knowing yourself and being proud and unafraid to tap into who you are, even if that takes time and even if that takes different identity shifts, or even no matter what, just being able to find who you are and completely owning it without any fear, without any needing to explain yourself to other people, but really going into this place of going into this healing journey. So this is really my purpose of opening this podcast, of being able to share what it's like to heal as a woman, what the journey looks like. And my goal really is to bring in other people to share their journeys, how they have healed and how they found themselves in a reality that's just very different than what they had to leave and what they had to move away from in order to be able to get to where they got to. I would say that what really pushed me into this journey were 2 incidents. One incident was where I was sitting around the table with my extended family during a holiday. I was drunk, of course, because I used to always get drunk whenever I was around people, because it was the only way I was able to cope. It was the only way I was able to continue putting up this beautiful facade that I was so good at putting up. And it was the only way I could really just simply enjoy myself. It made me happy. So why not? If it made me happy, let's go ahead. So I went ahead and I would drink, and I was drinking, and I was probably nice and tipsy or close to drunk. And we're sitting around the table and the whole family is there. And I realized that I was repeating history. And if I will not walk away from this situation or change or try my best to figure it out, I will be creating the same exact kind of home that I resented as a kid growing up. And that was the worst thing that I was able to tell myself. Like, it was not worth it. It was not worth it. It was not worth it. I looked around and I said, no way. I don't care what pain I'm going to have to go through. I don't care what shame, what embarrassment, whatever it is that I need to go through in order to be able to hopefully at least create a different reality for my children so that they don't experience the kind of reality that I resented growing up. That was really a big one for me when I realized that, I may not be that different than all the people around me that I just don't like. The second thing that really pushed me into this space was where I saw how I would just do things that I simply was not aligned with. So whether that was, going out with friends, getting drunk, going places, becoming friends with people that just weren't aligned with who I was, doing things that I regretted, things that I would wake up the next morning and I just wouldn't be able to wrap my brain around how I was somehow involved or somehow I entertained or whatever it was in whichever social scene that I just was not aligned with at all. And that really made me feel so disgusted with who I was. And I was like, no. I think I was 28 years old. I was like, this is not happening. I'm not allowing this to happen. This is not going to continue this way. So those two things were really what pushed me head on straight into healing. They both happened, I would say, weeks apart from each other. Right away started therapy. And once I started therapy, I was right away thrown into this world of healing. And I'm still in it. I would say around 3.5, 4 years later, I'm still in it. And I still have those difficult days. And I still have those times where I feel dark around me. But it's not constant dark. There's definitely been so much growth. The reality that I see around me is nothing compared to the reality that I once saw around me. And I know that I'm still on this journey. And even creating this podcast, it was I kept on telling myself, I want to do it. I want to share. I want to talk. I want to open this conversation. I want us women to talk. How many women are just stuck? And I was like, but I'm not yet on the other side of the tunnel. I don't feel like I am already on the other side. I already can say that, clap, clap, it's over, I'm done. I'm not. But in a way, I think this is what makes this space so much more special, is because I'm literally bringing you along with me on this journey as I experience the ups and downs of it, as I move along and get inspired by other people around me who have gone through this journey. I know that the stigma around healing is much, much, much less than it ever was. Going to therapy today and saying and admitting that you've gone to therapy is so much easier to say than it has ever been before. Still, however, there is still this stigma around it that does exist. And maybe so much more, less, but it still is around there. And there still is this oh, I don't need therapy. No, I'm fine, or it's their problem, or I'm good, I just have to focus, or I just have to pray, or I'm fine. And I think it is about deciding in the beginning that I'm going to start this journey and I'm going to get into it. And it's not necessarily therapy for every person. It can look like self-help books for one person. It could look like, listening to inspirational speeches for another person, listening to podcasts, going to therapy. There's all these different circles that women do together that are extremely inspiring and extremely healing. So therapy can look very different to every single person, but it really is taking the courage and finding the courage to really say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And in a way, I think a person that is on this journey or has gone on this journey, and I think so many people today have and are and do, it's brave. It's courageous. It's sort of saying, I don't like what's going on. I'm going to have to change. I have to fix myself. I have to, whether that looks like, also changing my surroundings, but I know that the work is going to need to start with inside of me. And it's a very brave thing to say. That's very much taking like my ego and putting my ego aside and saying, no, I as a person am going to put in the work, and I'm going to let myself be opened up, reflect on who I am, reflect on my behaviors, reflect on my patterns, and see how can I shift and how can I change all of this for the better, so that way my reality around me hopefully does turn around for the better, or even just inside of me. So today is bringing up this strength that we have, and I think that it's not physical strength that we're talking about. It's not. We're talking about something very, very deep inside, a strength that if you search for it, you find it, and when you find it, you hold on to it, because it's a strength that helps you and helps you keep on going. It's not something that I can really explain it, because it's so difficult to explain it. But it's like, imagine you're going on the treadmill and you're walking and walking and walking, and you're huffing and puffing, and every bit of energy is used up, and then you're like, just 2 more minutes, come on, just 2 more minutes, and you talk to yourself in your brain, and you're like, just 2 more minutes, and you're beyond the physical part at that point. Like you already wasted all the physicality. It's this emotional part of you that just pushes you to keep on going. For me, it's like I'm doing household chores. I just came home from work and I'm running up and down the steps and I'm doing laundry. And I'm like, for me, you just have to do one more load. Come on, go downstairs. Come on, just do the dishes. Come on, just sit down with the kid. Just read the kid a book. Come on. And it's beyond the physicality at that point. It's this like strength that you find inside of you, inside, deep inside, where it's like, I could do this, I could push, I can move, I could do this. And it's finding the strength to move out of the situations in life that are difficult, or to find that strength to open this space that's so scary. So many of us don't want to heal. So many of us don't want to go backwards because of how scary the past is and how deeply locked away so many memories are. Opening that up for the sake of you having a better now, because it is related. It's almost impossible to keep on shoving things away and throwing things away and hiding and to be able to keep on showing up as the best possible you. It just gets to a point where that explodes. So you have to sort of open it up. And I'll explain that in a different episode where we discuss what healing really does look like. And it takes strength to open that up. It's like you have a storm inside of you that you keep on trying to like push away, talk your way out of, shove it under the rug, put it into this tiny little box. That's what I had, like this little space in the back of my mind where I would lock all these uncomfortable moments in. And it's opening it up. It's literally letting the storm out. It's just letting the storm out. But if you tap into this strength inside of you, and I call this like the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm is the center part of the storm. So you have the whole storm that's going on. You have the thunder, the lightning, the rain, the wind. Everything is just chaos. But if you find this tiny center, there in the center, it's called the eye of the storm. It's quiet. It's peaceful. It's calm. And that's what this strength is. It's finding that space inside of you where saying, hey, I know I can do this. I am able to. I have the strength in me. And you do as a woman. And I don't want to push men away here, but I think a woman truly has a certain strength, because women deal with so many difficult things and so many hard things that are even so difficult to talk about. But somehow we manage to push through. Somehow we manage to find the strength to be able to overcome it and not let it push us down. And it's tapping into that strength as a woman, knowing that the women before us were able to do it, and even tapping into the strength that they had. Just thinking about any woman in your life that you know from the past that's been super strong, and how did she do it, and how did she do it, and how did she do it? But she did it because she was tapped into her strength, her inner peace, her eye of the storm. And healing is, I'm opening the door. I'm letting the storm out. I'm going to deal with the storm, but at the same time, I'm holding on to my strength. I'm holding on to my peace, and I'm going to get through this. And I'm going to find that strength to be able to walk through the storm and get it out. I'm going to be able to do this in the most peaceful, beautiful, and calming way with this strength that accompanies us, that we find inside of us. So To wrap up today's episode, Unshakable Strength, knowing it's not even about finding it yet. It's about knowing that it is inside of us, each and every person, man and woman. I just know about it from a woman's perspective because of me, because I'm a woman, and because of what I've gone through and how I found this strength inside of me, and how sometimes I don't even know where it is. It's like gone, but I just tap in for a minute and I'm like, I just need it. I need you. I need this strength. And it's just there sometimes. And sometimes it's there without me even being aware of the fact that it's there. So it's about knowing that we have this strength to get into this journey, to be able to walk into this space of saying, hey, I'm going to heal. I'm going to step up. I'm going to be able to create within me and around me a better situation, and hopefully a better life. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time on my second episode, where we're going to actually discuss what healing does look like once we do step into the journey, and that will be called Unshakable Healing.